Okay, and so we're back. So this time I'm doing something different. It's where I'll be talking about, um, well, basically is that I scrolled on the internet, and it seems that there are a few things that worry me about it. So here recently we just had a lot of news about. Well, it is the summer, so it is expected to be hot, but this year is extremely worrisome. Okay, so the first one I would like to bring, like, of course I'm gonna there'll be three countries I would like to focus on. So first will be China a bit, and then we go to Pakistan, and then we go a bit to the US. Okay, I know that there are other countries going through it, but if I were to shift through everything, um that it's gonna be a bit too much. Okay, so I'm just gonna focus on a couple of them. Okay, so with that said, okay, so I want to go with the first one, which is China. Okay, if you may or may not know that China is right now currently going through a really bad um climate change, like drought. Okay, where um where the heat wave, okay, they have reached over 40 degrees Celsius. Okay, for though I think more everybody understand the how Celsius works, but is for those who are mainly in the America, okay, 40 degrees, um easy to say, the body temperature for a person is around 36.7, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so any uh like any temperature that is close to 30, 36, 35, okay, it's considered as hot. Okay, because like your body needs to like regulate the temperature and and disperse it to the surrounding. Okay, so easy to say, when you're getting above or like close to 35 is already dangerous, and when you get to 40, like your body can't regulate its temperature anymore. Okay, so now um the recent drought, okay, or the scorching heat wave in China, okay, it's like it reached 40 degrees Celsius in most part of the country for maybe close to a month or so. Okay, and like we may or may not know how accurate this is, but let's just assume that it is true. Okay, that as you can see, okay, let's just read through this. Okay, in the summer of 2022, China was hit by its most severe heat wave in 6 decades. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, the last I watched a couple of, how should I say, um news on it. It says like the last time it was this bad was in 1961. Okay, heat wave in 6 decades, exacerbating a drought that has impacted food and factory production, power supplies, and transport in a vast area in the country. The Yangtze River Basin, which stretches from the coastal Shanghai to Sichuan province in South China's southwest and includes Asia's longest river, was considered as the worst affected area, with hundreds of millions of people impacted. Experts say that the heatwave could be among the worst recorded in global history. Okay, now even from that brief um summary of what this is about, okay, um, there's like direct effect that the heat wave have brought onto to China, but there are also uh indirect or unintentional, or basically like the effect of all of this. Okay, so like for example, like it says here, the power supplies, food production, okay, food and factory production, get transport disruption, all of this. Okay, we'll leave that for later. But the first thing first, let's just go through this article. Okay, just a little bit. Okay, oh, 40 days, 70 days. I thought it was like 40. Okay, I thought it was 40 days, not 70 days. Okay, for more than 70 days straight, a brutal heat wave ravaged through much of China, with sustained temperatures of more than 40 degrees Celsius (104 Fahrenheit). It affected more than 900 million people in at least 17 provinces from southwestern Sichuan to coastal Jiangsu and Zhejiang provinces in the west. Okay, so here, again, like I said, we may or may not know how accurate um, how accurate it may be, but the data, okay. But look at that, okay. I would say just by looking roughly here, okay, because I'm not an expert in I'm not an expert in China's geography, but if you take a look at here, okay, well, now it's just comparing two, okay, which is, oops, give me a second, I need to put my cursor on top, okay, which is 2021, 2022. Without a doubt, there's like not much change, but I think the biggest part of 2021 to 2022 here, it is that Beijing was safe at in the beginning, but this year it's not spared at all. Okay, now and then like this, like it's slowly like the heat wave is eating inside of Chongqing here over here. Wait, give me a second. Maybe I can make it bigger. Let's see, Windows capture. Let's make it a bit bigger. Hopefully you can see it. How about like, what if I do it like this? There. Okay. Now, so there's a lot that we can say about here. That by 2022, I would say like at the very least 60%. It looks to me like 70% of China is affected by the heat wave. Okay, and like I said earlier, I thought it was only 40 days. I didn't know it had been went for over 2 months. Okay, so think of I'm just gonna tell you my experience. Okay, as you may or may not know, I live in Malaysia. Okay, Malaysia we are at the equator, and we don't have seasons. Okay, so basically it's just warm and wet whole year long. Okay, and the fact that in Malaysia every single day it is basically like around 30 plus around 30 degrees. Okay, so in my place on average it is around 30 to 32. Okay, well, if it's sunny outside. Okay, if it's cloudy, it may go up to 30. Okay, but easy to say, it's still quite hot. Okay, and in Malaysia, in like the past 2 years, there has been a couple of more frequent power outages, but I wouldn't say like really frequent. Like maybe in a year, maybe 3 or 4 times, maybe. Okay, like every 3 to 4 months once. Okay, so it's pretty rare, but we can still live with it. Okay, and usually it happens at night. Okay, so in a sense that when that happens, like we are not under the sun. Okay, but even so, okay, if I'm not mistaken, at night normally, if it doesn't rain, okay, if it doesn't rain, it should be around 27 degrees, which is let me just explain to you what happened during the nights we don't have electricity. Is that I found that for my place, I've have power disruption like maybe around 8 p.m. to 12 midnight. Okay, something like that. Okay, I wouldn't say like for 4 hours every single time, but it would last like 2, maximum 3 hours. Okay, and during that time, okay, where as you know that I'm always in front of my PC. Okay, but when it's that time, like, okay, the power's off, nothing else to do, let's just lie on my bed. Okay, so I'll try to sleep, and with that 27 degrees Celsius. Okay, and there is a thing about the ventilation and stuff. Okay, so let's just say 27, 28. Even with that, I'm having a hard time sleeping. Imagine for these people having to go through a heat wave that is 40 degrees Celsius, okay, and with the power outages, can you imagine how much people are going through heat strokes? And recently, if you don't know, that there's a lot of uh, Chinese people trying to deal with the heat wave by, like, for example, um, like going to caves to cool them, going to caves, going to the subway station, and all of those things. Okay, like, you can't blame them. Okay, because it should be unbearable. Okay, uh, that's why, like, I pity them. Okay, that they have, like, the power being cut off. Like, where else are they gonna go? Okay, if, like, even if I say, oh, they're being disrespectful, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to die? You know, um, whether it directly or indirectly by the sun. Okay, it's still a humanitarian crisis, and I hope that people see that first before, saying that, oh, they're being disrespectful. Well, being disrespectful is one thing, but, like, as long as you are there, like, you're not hurt, you're not damaging the sites, okay, the cave, whatever, I'm fine with that. Okay, now, so then so that's one of the biggest and most direct consequences uh of climate change, okay, of the heat wave. Okay, um then, okay, as you where people will be badly affected by it. And next, before we go to the drought, okay, I would just like to say that, with on top of the COVID, there's the zero COVID policy. Like, I do see, like, people that have to line up to get their tests, okay, under the hot scorching sun, and that is, I would say, you are just gonna exacerbate it, because, like, the reason why they they gonna have, zero COVID policy. One thing is that, I should say, one of the biggest thing is that, it is to lighten the burden of the lighten the burden for the hospitals, okay, and because, like, if like they allow the spread to go on, okay, in it won't be long until the hospital be overrun by it. But right now, I think it's like having it's backfiring, because, like, you one of the main reasons you do that is to, like, to reduce the burden on the hospitals. But now, since you're making, them take the COVID test, okay, basically out in the hot sun, okay, most people are gonna get heat strokes, okay, and people get heat strokes. What are they gonna do? Send them to a hospital, okay, like, faint, okay, have to go to the hospital, okay, or maybe people that died, okay, and in a sense, like, you're gonna bring in those patients, okay, whether it's by COVID or by the heat stroke, okay. So, like I say, it's a bit, like, if they're ever gonna have COVID tests, okay, I would hope that they will, like, at the very least, like, they have, like, camps, okay, uh like tents pitched up, okay, so that they can, rest from the heat, from the sun, okay, because, like I say, not only that you're gonna burden the hospital, but on that person itself, it's a it's a horrible experience to go through. Okay, now let's go through the severity of China's drought over here. Okay, so as you can see, okay, there's been a lot of okay there has been a lot of drought, okay, especially on the lower part of China, okay, and this has, without doubt, this is a direct impact of the heat wave, okay, because, like we've read earlier, that China has had 70 days of had 70 days of um have 70 days of basically heat wave, okay, and since there's not much rain that happened, okay, so, like, it dried up their rivers, okay, and here comes another thing, okay, even though that is a direct impact the heat wave, the indirect impact is that it actually reduce um, their ability to produce or to generate hydroelectric power. Okay, without a doubt, hydroelectric power is considered as renewable energy, and it's way more preferable than burning fossil fuels. Okay, take it whether by coal, whether by whether by coal or any other fossil fuel. Okay, it is way much preferable. But like I say, um, since you have to give props for China to that some parts of China use up maybe consists of 35%, 70% of the 75% of some states will actually have quite a significant 75% of their power is generated by hydroelectricity. Okay, but since the drought is going on, okay, that these dams can generate the power to help cover up the power consumption. Okay, so I want to bring you up to this one here. Okay, I want you to see this one. Wait, let me check. Okay, it is on. So I want to go through this one here. Okay, China's record drought is drying up rivers and feeding its coal habit. Now, dry weather in southwestern China has crippled huge hydroelectric dams, forcing cities to impose rolling blackouts and driving up the country's use of food. Now, this is basically a situation of which one comes first, the chicken or the egg? Okay, which one comes first, the chicken or the egg? Okay, so first of all, okay, what I would like to say about the chicken and the egg thing is that the reason why we are using renewable energy is because we don't want to pollute. We want to use clean and renewable energy. Okay, now the fact that the drought is happening, okay, as you can see from the front picture here, is that this is supposed to be a bridge. Well, of course it's a bridge. Okay, but the thing is, you can see this one also, they measure how it measures the water level of the river, and people expect, okay, the worst is going to be here, but it actually it's even worse. Okay, and thinking about it like that, okay, it's kind of shows the severity of this drought, that it's lower than what I had expected. Okay, I did see a couple of TikTok videos or something like that, okay, where the that there's the measuring stick to measure the water level. Okay, and they say that this is the first time, okay, ever since in recorded history, okay, and maybe that measuring stick has been over for 100 years, and this is the first time they have seen the bottom of it, okay, or something to that extent. Okay, so looking at it from that perspective, the low water level, without a doubt, no water, you cannot generate hydroelectric power. Okay, the dams are not gonna perform. So now, when that happens, okay, and people still need electricity, okay, so what are we gonna do? Okay, they are gonna use fossil fuel, just like I said earlier. Okay, so they are feeding their coal habit. Now, like I say, the main reason for us to move away from fossil fuel is so that we can use we can use cleaner energy. But now that they are forced to use fossil fuel, this is basically gonna create more pollution. Okay, and at the end, it's just gonna exacerbate the climate crisis. Okay, which is they want to rely on hydroelectric power, but they don't have water to do it. Okay, and there's like maybe I can search it now. So just give me a second. Just give me a second. Let me just find the China River drought. There's one very scary that looks like a dragon. Like it is so bad that China River drought. Is it this? No. Okay, I'm looking for. Okay. There's a very scary like drought that the river drought delta. Give me a second. Part of the Yangtze River. I think this one here. Okay, I think I show you now. So as you can see from up here, okay, it's like, well, I can't find the other one, but maybe it's the bigger picture of this. But take a look at this one. Okay, so this is supposed to be the Yangtze River. If I'm not wrong, it's the Yellow River, which is supposed to be the China's largest river. And come on, okay, China's largest river. And look at, usually we are not supposed to see the bottom of the river, okay, like this. But the drought has been so bad that we can actually see it, okay. And if I'm not mistaken, okay, that there are tons of states and provinces that rely on this river. And since it also generates quite an amount of electricity for the country, seeing it being this low should raise panic for everybody, because like not only for China, but it also shows the extent of climate change is having towards it's gonna have towards the world. Okay, now what I would like to say is that without a doubt, we have to stand together and like help each other out. But the thing is that China has been the factory of the world. Okay, I think I don't need to explain that part that much. Okay, but another what that means is that they are also relying on China to generate electricity to power up their factories. Okay, now without a doubt, okay, now what the government in China is doing is like they're limiting the factories to like divert that power to residential or like business. Okay, so like with that, okay, the unintended consequences is that it may exacerbate the country financially. And thinking about how the zero COVID policy is going through, okay, plus a lot of factories being shut, like have to close because there's no power. Like you can't help but to imagine, okay, we're already going through a climate crisis, and then like if we're going to layer on top a financial or economic crisis, what is that gonna mean, okay, for the future? Now, without a doubt, okay, the year is not over yet, but we are 3/4 through. Okay, seeing it from that perspective, okay, like you may say like, okay, 2020 is the worst, okay, 2020 is the worst, okay, but 2021 it's roughly the same. But we can't just say that 2022 is not the worst, because like we have to see that this climate change maybe this is not like once in a lifetime. From what I heard from the researchers, is that they are saying that no, this is the new norm, and it's just gonna get worse from here on out. And like I can't believe that the people are not realizing it yet. Like earlier on in this summer, that there's a clip, okay, of, if I'm not mistaken, a British a British newscaster was talking to another researcher. Okay, and the researcher was like saying, "Hey, we need to be careful, okay? Because like we can see in the UK that some part of the UK is gonna reach 40 degrees Celsius. Okay, like he's seeing the trend and he's like, oh, please be careful. Okay, we need to deal with climate change now, or we're gonna be too late to deal with it." And then the newscaster or like the host, okay, he said, "Ah, come on, don't be so gloomy here, okay? We are here to spread joy. We are here to spread fun. Can you not be so pessimistic?" And like a week or two later, bam, UK hit with a 40 degrees Celsius, which is basically unheard of for them, okay? Like, you know, when you think about UK, the climate there, you will not think of it being that hot. Okay, like it's even hotter than in Malaysia. Okay, like I said, Malaysia, even though that we don't have season, so basically like we have sun all day long. Okay, like I haven't checked this year the highest temperature for Malaysia, but I would suggest even if we are going through a bit of a spike, I would say that it's going to 35, 36, which is, like I say, it's still bad, but it's not to the level of 40 degrees. Like seeing that happen in a country that is supposed to have a colder temperature than us, having higher temperature than us, that's like, oh shit, this is bad. Okay, and this, like I say, I can't go through all the countries. Like I remember, like earlier this summer, in Japan, people have to some officers are told to work without turning on their lights. Okay, so basically like turn off their lights, just their computer or whatsoever. Okay, to reduce. Okay, because like the hunger for electricity is without across the board, across the globe, is gonna raise up. Okay, and looking at it from that perspective, okay, although it's not implied, it also shows that um the there's a rise in use of fossil fuels. Okay, even though it's not said, we can assume that. Okay, and because now that we look at this, okay, with the drought, like hydroelectric, with the drought is happening on, I can guarantee that any other government that think about trying to that is thinking to make a dam to generate electricity will think twice, like, is hydroelectricity power gonna be a reliable source of energy? We don't want it to happen, like China here, who in some provinces rely 70%. But it's not whether I think like whether or not they can it is a reliable source of energy. I think we still should, because like it also, if it's, let's say for example, you're gonna have trouble during the drought. Okay, but at the same time, okay, when it's, at least we can utilize it when the rivers okay, when the rivers are flowing basically at the adequate level, like it will also reduce it. Okay, I do hope that we don't get news about that. Okay, like say, oh, let's say this country's government is rethinking its dam project. Okay, like scrapping out their hydroelectricity power dams. Okay, or like canceling off the development of it. Okay, without a doubt, okay, it is preferable compared to fossil fuel, but this is gonna be like against the point I just made, is that dam also have an unintended consequences. Okay, I do not want to say that all, like, the advantages outweighs the disadvantages. Okay, which is that the disadvantage is that it basically disrupts the flow of the river. Okay, and not only it affects it in the terms of the ecosystem. Okay, the fish that for example, some fish, like they would like to travel upstream, but now they can't because like the dam is in the way. Okay, so that is one thing. Okay, which is pretty big as well. Okay, like if you disrupt an ecosystem like that, okay, think about what what unintentional consequences that will affect the to the to the animals, to the plants that depend on that river. Okay, because like what it means to build a dam is that you are basically like limiting the flow of water in the river. Okay, it's like the upper part of the river is gonna like pull off a portion of it and only let a fraction of it of the water to pass through. Okay, so that is one thing. Another thing about dam is that which is why countries, okay, of course our borders are not drawn by nature. Our borders are drawn by human. Okay, now what I meant by that is that rivers, okay, a couple of countries may share the same river. Okay, and one of it that I'm thinking right now is probably like let's say if I'm not mistaken, India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Okay, is that the big if I'm not mistaken, the one that got it the worst is without a Bangladesh. If I'm not mistaken, if my geography, if my mind if I remember correctly. And the thing is, like I say, a dam disrupts the flow of water in the river. Like those who are on top will get the benefit, while those at the bottom, I'm gonna suffer. Okay, so what happened here, okay, is that this is the unintended effect of a dam, okay, to generate hydroelectricity power, is that, okay, when they would only let go a fraction of it. So in other words, like without a doubt, the closer you are to the dam, your flow of water is going to be disrupted, but at least you're still gonna get water pass by. Okay, but for Bangladesh, it's so sad for them is that they're at the bottom of it. Okay, which is like they are near the sea. Okay, like they hardly get much water from the river, but okay, during the dry season. But when it comes to the flood season or the wet season, okay, like India is gonna release a lot of water, and that in turn is gonna like cause like Bangladesh is going through the wet season as well, and now that the river, which is normally dry, is gonna start flowing again. So like they're hit from both sides, both nature and man-made one, which is really unfair for them. Okay, now with that said, okay, even though I've been talking a bit about South Asia for a while, okay, like I say, China's drought is good. Like this is the worst that it had been in the past 60 years. Now maybe next year it may not be this bad, okay, but still, okay, you have to think about that. The projections of the scientists, the researchers are saying that it's just gonna get worse from here on out. Okay, now next part I would like to go to on is okay, this one this one here. Now this is probably like one of the most okay, let's just read through it. Pakistan emits less than 1% of the world's planet warming gases. Now it's drowning. Okay, now the thing is, Pakistan, okay, like I say, along with Bangladesh, is also like pretty sad because without doubt they are considered as a developing nation. Okay, in other words, like their finances and stuff are not fully developed. But even with that, even if they didn't produce a lot of a lot of these pollutants, they are suffering through it because, as you can see here, okay, they are drowning. Now, what's more funny is that earlier on in summer, okay, I remember seeing that I remember seeing a news report saying that in some parts of Pakistan, if I'm not mistaken, okay, had actually reached 50 degrees Celsius. Some part of Pakistan, if I'm not mistaken. Now, thinking about it, like, hey, they have now more. Some of you may not think it through. Hey, how come they, earlier in the season they have 50 degrees Celsius and now they are drowning. Now, the thing is, like when you talk about global warming, the first and climate change, the first thing that you will probably think, like, the biggest effect will probably be like the melting of the polar ice caps. Now, that is true. That is worrisome. Okay, I'm not trying to downgrade, but there's another thing. Pakistan is in the Himalayas. Okay, problem is that the mountain tops are basically covered in snow. Okay, and Himalayas are basically like one of the biggest source of have the biggest source of glaciers in the world, and indirectly that means Pakistan is, you know have a lot of abundant uh, fresh water there, but it's in ice form. Now the thing is, as you know, increase in temperature, it means it's gonna speed up the melting of the glaciers. Okay, not only the polar ice cap but the glaciers. Okay, so I've watched a couple of videos, okay, from CNA, like maybe like 2 weeks ago or something like that. Okay, they're talking about this. Okay, and what happened was that in is that the video shows they talk to the activists, they talk to like experts, okay, saying that Pakistan, with the melting of the ice caps, okay, it's like when the glacier melt, okay, like they're gonna create like some sort of like water containment area, okay. It will just melt and the water will flow into there until that water containment area, okay, in the mountains, can't hold it anymore. It's gonna burst, and that burst is gonna lead to a flood. Okay, now, so imagine this: they are going through a scorching heat, and then suddenly they are hit with a flood. Okay, and I'm just gonna show you the next one that I had is that this part here, how melting glaciers fuel Pakistan fatal floods. Okay, so as we can read here, okay, Pakistan has more than 7,000 glaciers. Climate change is melting them into flood water. So as you can see here, okay, like, not I'm annoyed by the fact that that this big media companies, like, so for example, like CNN, okay, BBC, all of these big media companies, they are barely giving this any spotlight. Like, this should be like, hey, alarm bell ring, okay, pay attention to the climate crisis. And like most of them, it's the best we can hope is that, oh, they are going this country is going through unprecedented times, okay, in terms of climate change. So they feel like the the researchers are yelling at you and like, oh yeah, okay, so basically you're trying to say this is the worst time that it happened. Okay, gotcha. And that's what they reported. I get so frustrated when even I, who is not actively seeking out, okay, like I do subscribe to CNA Channel News Asia and DW News, okay, like they are better in a sense because like they I would say they're a hybrid, okay, they are a hybrid of of legacy media, and also, but they know that they can't compete there, so like they are diversifying to the into the internet world, okay, where like basically like on YouTube and stuff, okay, where the news is, you know, is more relatable um to the people or that interest them, okay. So with that, I appreciate for them, okay, that they give me, you know, this information for me to, you know, to understand, okay. Like, and the reason I'm doing here, like, even though like maybe not many are looking at it, but at least, you know, like, I just want to highlight it, okay. Now, thinking, like, looking back at, you know, at this, okay, like they say 7,000. I don't think all of them have melted yet. Imagine what happened if all of them melt at once, okay. um I wouldn't say that it's all like Pakistan can do more to help up with the climate change, okay? But but it's a bit unfair to ask them to do that, okay. It's a bit unfair to ask them to do that when they emit less than 1%, okay. Now, the biggest problem that I have with Pakistan is that Pakistan have basic their cities basically have no trees, okay. That is like my biggest gripe with Pakistan, okay. It's like basically the capital city and a couple of big cities basically are deserts, but they are like activists like trying to plant more trees in the cities, okay. Even though it's a city, that doesn't mean that it's supposed to be like no green at all, okay. So I'm glad that they're doing that, okay. But okay, but it's a bit unfair to put everything on Pakistan, okay. Okay, so this is like how it's affecting you know, poorer income countries, okay. Now, it's, can I'm just gonna like mute it, and like we're gonna see this one here. Like, if I'm not mistaken, the one that we saw just now, it is that man, okay. I turn off the volume, right? Okay, so you can see this guy, he is actually using, you know, the frame of his bed to try to make a makeshift, you know, like to cross over, okay, somebody's bed, okay. Volunteers use a bed frame to rescue several people from devastating floods in Pakistan. Okay, so severe rains and floods have killed more than 1,000 people in the country since mid-June. And look at that. At least 33 million have been impacted by the unprecedented flooding, and this is probably like in Pakistan alone, in the country alone, experiencing its 8th monsoon cycle compared to the usual 3 to 4 cycles. Oh yeah, if I'm not mistaken, the one in the background there is supposed to be a bridge or something like that, okay. And because the flood, you know, rushed through and basically like, destroyed the whole thing. Like, if this doesn't, you know, scares you, I don't know what will, okay. Okay, next one I'm gonna go to that's about Pakistan. Now this is the third country, which is probably going to be like the last that I'm gonna talk about, which is in the USA, okay. Here, okay, this is Lake Mead, if I'm not mistaken, and as you can see, okay, the first one here, oh, I think I should bring it up a bit. Okay, as you can see, in 2000, okay, you can say like maybe it could be better, like better filled, but as you can see, there's still an adequate amount of, you know, water in the lake. But now, if you take a look at last year, basically only like a small portion of it, and now this year, the lake's basically dried up. You can see like small patches of blots of water here and there, but still, it is quite alarming. Like, and funny thing is, I do watch a lot of American news. This is barely talking them. Yeah, like even independent news, like they do give attention to it, but like they are only independent news. Okay, like the main outlets, okay, the main media channels, they're not even barely giving this any coverage. Okay, even if they did, like, oh, some rivers are drying up. Yeah, some rivers are drying up. Sad. Okay, next story. That's it. Like, and the like funny thing is, they are still debating whether climate change is real. Okay, I would say that most countries, okay, I'll say most, I'm not saying all, most countries in the world accepted that as a fact. And like seeing them still arguing on this is pretty much, like a hair pulling event. Okay, and the next one I want to talk about is the Colorado River, which is basically okay. Colorado River, um, Colorado River is basically one of the biggest. I don't know what is the biggest or the largest, longest river in America, but as far as I know, okay, I'm like I say, I've never been to America, but uh I've I've read through it, like videos on it, okay, and it seems that Colorado River, like there are 7 states that rely on it, okay, so it is a big thing that the Colorado River is drought is so bad you can see it from space. Okay, more than water cuts are coming to the as the nation's largest reservoirs continue to dry up in the worst drought in 1200 years. Now, want to see how bad it is? Okay, I have this tab over here that we can see. So okay, so as you can see here, oops. Okay, so I'm just gonna let it go. Okay, as you can see, it says here 1987, and we're gonna see the time lapse in 15 seconds. How bad it is. Okay, like as you can see, every single year, okay, right now is fluctuating. Okay, but at the turn of the millennia, you can see that it is getting smaller, and now it is barely being filled up again. So this is just a GIF that is made by the that is made based on satellite images. Like like I say, there are 7 states in America that are relying on this. Okay, and what pains me is that if I'm not mistaken, there are the 7, it's not like they are equally spread out, not like like, okay, since there are 7, so like let's divide by 7, so like maybe 15%, each one of the states is given 15%. In other words, like equally, okay, to for them equal amount of water use. No, it's not like that. How it works is that the Colorado River, that there is like a priority list, and the one on top of the priority list is if I'm not mistaken, is Utah. Okay, and Utah is basically known as it's basically assumed to the image of a desert. It's 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 something you should assume. Okay, and I just want to check out, where is it? Okay, this part here, this part over here. Okay, it's already highlighted, so let's up. This part over here. Okay, this part over here. Colorado, Wyoming, Utah, and New Mexico share the Colorado River in what is called the River Upper Basin. Arizona, Nevada, and California form the lower basin. So the funny thing is that the people from the upper part, okay, they are going to get more they're gonna get more dips, easy to say, to the water, okay, and the most craziest thing is that Utah is a desert, and like they okay, just give me a moment. Just give me a moment. I'm gonna look for it, okay? Utah Golf Club. Utah Golf Course. Okay, let's go news. Utah Golf Course. Okay, I think we can just go through the images. Okay? I think we can just go through the images. Like, bear in mind what I told you. Utah is supposed to be a desert, and they are using the water. Okay, basically, the worst way for you to waste water is to make a golf course. Okay, in the fucking desert. So like, when I like, wait, did I hear that right? When I first heard it, a golf course in the fucking desert. You're fucking kidding me. So like this one here, as you can see, like when I heard this, my head like my brain doesn't compute. My brain doesn't compute. And like when I like I read to several articles, when I go through a couple of the videos that that I want to say news channel, like documentary channel, like they're like explain why Utah is considered as one of the most mind-numbing thing in the world, is that you are gonna go through you're a desert. How is this sustainable? How can you make a desert? Isn't that a waste of water? And what's worse is that like I said here, okay, that those who are from the upper part, they have they can use as much water as they want, in a sense, okay. Now while those at the bottom here, which is for example Nevada over here, like even though that Nevada, Las Vegas, okay, they are also a desert, okay. The funny thing is, for I've seen like the water consumption, how much water they waste. It turns out that it's funnily how the funny thing is, Las Vegas in Nevada, they have better water conservation compared to Utah. And like, it's supposed to be the other way around, don't you think? Like Las Vegas, the one that is flashy, okay, like even the like I forgot which hotel it is, okay, in Las Vegas, that they have the water spout, okay, like water fountain, okay, that that have that shoots up water, okay, like very excessively. It turns out, like, I was surprised. That is a very way they are. Those are actually like recycled water, or like water that is not supposed to be drinkable. So in other words, like just to show off, and like basically it's a recycled water, and they can use that again and again. But Utah, the one that have higher dips, in other words, like how it works, if I'm not mistaken, I've read, they say that if they don't use in other like a year, they can draw up this much water from the river, okay, is what they say. If you don't use it, then bye bye, the water is gonna be you're not gonna be able to like claim it again next year. So those kind of thing, like, so that's what make those states who are in the upper parts of it, okay, to get a better claim. So like, hey, if I don't use, I'm gonna lose out, so I'm just gonna use everything. And like that affects the other states further downstream. I'm like, one thing is, we can, based on that, human greed, okay, you can't argue the fact that human greed is not a factor in it, okay. Second, okay, is that this one is like probably like capitalism coming seeping in, okay, trying to exploit as much as possible with the golf course, okay. And third of all, it's like selfishness, like in other words, like you don't care about anybody else but yourself. Okay. Now, good thing, okay, about this article here, okay, is that the water is being cut. Okay. Uh okay. How new Colorado River cuts will impact states and residents. Okay. So now, in a sense that um in a sense that since, for example, like this one is basically aimed at those states that are wasting a lot of water, which is basically Utah. I'm just gonna stress out because I'm really pissed off the fact that they made a golf course in the middle of a desert. Okay. And that now basically what they said in this article is that it before this they said something close to like okay, state government should be more active in with their water conservation or water planning. Okay, so that fact itself, like they've been issuing a lot of these kind of like warning, a lot of uh like call to action to the state government, but they didn't do anything. Okay, without a doubt, like I say just now, the ones, okay, at the lower part, okay, Arizona, Nevada, and California, they are taking it seriously. And they are, I wouldn't say like they do everything, but at least they're taking a step in the right direction. Okay, but recently I've heard that since this is happening, okay, like some developers in Utah, they are not happy with it because like they are actually plan to make more. Listen again, more golf courses in Utah, the fucking desert. Like when I saw this, like, oh my god, finally somebody has some sense. Okay, like they need to regulate. The um. They really need to regulate this the use of water from the Colorado River, because like I say, 7 states are relying on it. Well, if they don't do it now, you're just kicking it down the can, and later on you're just gonna like come to a situation where the river is dried out and you got no water at all. You got to think about it, okay, that what would happen if people, don't have any supply of clean water. Okay, like imagine yourself now. Okay, I would assume that most of it, don't live in the 7 states. Okay, I assume. Okay, but even if you aren't, think about it. What would happen if water is suddenly cut off from you? Okay, like for us, okay, I hope, okay, that everybody here is like, okay, just turn on the tap water and you can enjoy, water coming out of your tap. Simple as that. Okay, but now it's like, in my place, I also suffer from water shortage. Less same with the electricity out with the electricity one. Like I say, it's very rare, like maybe like 4 times a year. Okay, and but basically that's like rationing. Okay, like when it happens, like they're going to tell us early on, like, okay, let's say for example, okay, today they say, okay, be careful, this part, you're gonna there's gonna be a disruption in water, in the water system from let's say today is the 2nd of September. Let's say for example 3rd of September from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. for example. Okay, so during that time there's gonna be water rationing in my area, for example. So like even with that, it does disrupt me. Okay, like the worst happened like maybe 2-3 years ago, is that for a period of time, okay, it seems like something happened to the dam nearby, or the reservoir. Okay, what happened is that the reservoir level is low, if I'm not mistaken, and they have a dry season at that moment, and basically every day for like, I wouldn't say to a level of a month, that maybe 2 weeks or so. Okay, that in the morning during the weekdays, give me a second, let me drink water. For like close to a month, 2 weeks or so. Yeah, I don't remember exactly. That in the morning weekdays, um, they will alternate. So like for example, like okay, my area Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we don't have water. Okay, and that is like basically like either half the day or so, and it was it was inconvenient, but it is not unbearable. Okay, like half the day you don't have water. Okay, but you know, like I was working at that point, like okay, go ahead. Okay, but still, it is a bit annoying to see that my mom have to like have to. I think I'll take a sweet. Give me a second. Coughing. Okay, so um, it's pretty, you know, looking at my mom, you know, she always prepared like buckets of water to prepare for the water rationing. Okay, it is an inconvenience, and I do wish that it won't happen, but it's not to the point that like we are actually like surviving through it. Okay, there's not much. It's not to that level. So like, I'm pretty glad that um that we have a steady supply. Even if like it is low, we're still gonna have a steady supply of water. But you know, hearing from other countries like far worse off than ours, okay, that for example, India, if I'm not mistaken, okay, like they easy to say, if I'm not mistaken, like I say, if I'm not mistaken, it's India. Um, this, or was it Pakistan? I forgot which one. Okay, that they don't have supply of clean water because like the pipes are not working well, and what they do is that, you know, at night those people they have to like um basically cut into the steel from the water pipes that the government set up, but uh they only funnel it through the upper to the richer area, but leaving the basically like the poorer areas without water. So like in a sense, they bought uh to get a supply of water in their house, like they have to have water pumps. Okay, and that water pump is gonna like help them they're gonna take an amount of water like they will last through maybe a couple of days. Okay, and I heard, like I said, I can't remember this very well because I have it's been a couple it's been a while since I watched it, that water the official water supply that came into the area like maybe once a month, which is really, you know, which is really a bit unfair thinking about it. Okay, with, you know, like this shows that even in there's no class solidarity. Okay, now I really want to, you know, like I said, the main reason I'm doing this is because I don't see much this issue being talked more, and I hated the fact that I hated the fact that this is happening in the first place. Okay, and now, like I said, with the China drought and stuff, okay, like more people are gonna more governments are going to be less keen on making more dams. Okay, and then like they're going to rely more on fossil fuel. Like, hey, why are we going to invest our money on renewable clean energy if we can't maintain a consistent flow of it? Okay, but then thinking about it, okay, if we rely on too much on fossil fuels, so fossil fuels are not infinite; they are finite. When we finish all of them, what do? Are we just gonna kick down the can? Because like looking at what human nature, how humans have reacted in the past 20-30 years, like they're probably gonna kick it down the can. Like even when these fossil fuel companies like uh like Shell, like all of these fossil fuel companies, ExxonMobil, and all of them, like probably gonna be like, yeah, like even if they say like, hey, our reserve, we only have like 10 years left. Hello, we have 5 years left. 4, 3, 2, and then like when left like around 3 years left, like then only the government are gonna scramble and do something about it, which is very likely what will happen. Okay, now, because without a doubt, I wouldn't say fossil fuels are totally bad. Okay, like I'm not saying that we should not have like coal plant. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we need them, but as as a substitute. Okay, so like for example, if you're going to rely on hydroelectric power, okay, so when in China right now that they don't have enough electricity to generate, don't have water to generate electricity for the country. Okay, in this case, you can use more coal. Okay, but the thing is that the main should always be the renewable energy. Okay, and I'm just gonna say that a couple of years back, like maybe 2 years or so, like I'm looking forward to Saudi Arabia. They are trying to make a city that is basically a very futuristic city in terms of energy. Energy use is that I forgot what it's called. Is that what they're gonna do is that they're gonna like deal with, because without doubt, Saudi Arabia, it's a desert, and like the biggest thing is that to get fresh water. Okay, so what's gonna happen is that they're going to draw in the water from the sea and like funnel it through, and they'll have like a huge reservoir, and this one is like basically it doubles as a solar power plant in a sense. Okay, like the solar power plant is gonna heat up the water, and like it's gonna speed up the process for the what's it called, to turn seawater into fresh water. I forgot what's it called. Okay, and then later the water is then used to for drinking, and also to make farms and to green up the area. Okay, like I'm looking up to that. Okay, I don't really agree with what the Saudi Arabia government is doing, but with them trying to even a very big fossil fuel based country, and even they say like, okay, we need to go renewable. It brings hope, but at the same time, I wish they do better. Okay, now so yeah, that's it about me ranting for over an hour. So I really wish that things would, get better, and we don't have to get to this point where it is very bleak future that is coming up again for us. Okay, like I said, maybe situation will look a bit better next year, but overall the trend is still looking bad for us. Okay, and maybe next year is better. Maybe the following year will be better than this year. Okay, but who knows? 5 years later on, okay, that it's gonna get even worse. And I just hope that the politician, the government, all over the world understand this, because like the longer we procrastinate, the less time we have to deal with this. And when we reach the turning point, that's it. Like what we gonna do when that point comes up, okay, we're just gonna help that, you know that the worst thing that we've predicted, okay, is when the worst thing that we predicted, the scientists predicted, it's not gonna happen. That's the best thing we can hope for, okay. And maybe the best days for us is gonna be behind us, okay. And it kind of hurts to see, the generation coming up have to go through all of this, okay. Without doubt, for me, I'm still young. I'm going to go through all of that together. But for the younger generation who may not know, the better future ahead of them, it's quite sad for them, okay. So with that said, I'm gonna end the stream here today. Like, thanks for hearing out me ranting for over an hour, okay. And later on, I'll be having another Japanese study stream, and also I'm gonna play AU Senki later tonight, okay. With that said, I'll see you guys. Okay, I'll see you guys later or next.